evening and welcome to Hungary Report, starting off Public Media M1's foreign language news hour. I'm Csenga Gabriela Iboya with today's news from Hungary and the Carpathian Basin. Let's begin. The Commissioner for Neighbourhood and Enlargement is one of the most important portfolios in the European Union, and Ursula von der Leyen could not have found a more suitable candidate for the position in the person of László Trócsányi. An analyst of the Viewpoint Institute talked about this in M1's show this morning. As Erik Tóth put it, the Hungarian government's objective was to acquire such a serious portfolio.
Enlargement policy issues will once again come to the forefront in the next 5 years. All this means is that Ursula von der Leyen had to find and appoint a candidate for this who would be able to represent it in a credible and professionally sound manner. And László Trócsányi is one such candidate.
One of the main goals of Prime Minister Viktor Orbán is to make sure that the kinds of questions that are breaking multicultural Western politics never arise. That is what the American magazine, The American Conservative, wrote in an article. The author of the article attended a conference for Christian journalists in Budapest last week and then met with the Prime Minister. Rod Dreher cites the Prime Minister, who described the mission of his second term as to say what I think since 2014, because he realized that he was the only three-man along European prime ministers with a strong united parliamentary unit behind him. According to the report, Viktor Orbán also talked about the fact that Hungary was the only government in Europe to respond to the migration crisis in its own interest and in the interest of Christianity in Europe. The series of events commemorating the opening of the border 30 years ago continued in Berlin. The Hungarian Charity Service of the Order of Malta built a similar tent to the one that in 1989 awaited GDR refugees in Hungary. It was officially on September 11th at midnight that the measure came into effect that would allow tens of thousands of East Germans to travel through Austria to West Germany.
It was 3 decades ago that thousands of East Germans crossed the border between Hungary and Austria in a state of euphoria with their Wartburgs, Trabants and Dacias. They were happily waving to the Hungarian border guards, who let them leave the country without any control. On occasion of the 30th anniversary at an event held in the Hungarian embassy in Berlin, the president of the Bundestag talked about how Hungary had taken a huge risk back in 1989, as it did not know how the approximately 80,000 Soviet soldiers stationed in Hungary were going to react to the open border, while Hungarian-German relations entered into a new phase. Hungarian poets have to come up with a new metaphor to describe their country's situation, because Hungary is not a swing state anymore between the East and the West. It has a firm position in the center of Europe, emphasized the president of the German Federal Parliament. Meanwhile, the array of celebrations continued in Berlin's center as well. Hungarian Charity Service of the Order of Malta put up a similar tent on Friedrichstrasse as the one people fleeing from the GDR had to wait in, and where they were provided and cared for 30 years ago by Hungarian volunteers. At the Hungarian-German Youth Forum, organized for the 30th anniversary of opening the borders, the Minister of Justice, Judit Varga, talked about the strong historical relations joining together the two countries. It is very important that we maintain this unity and we respect each other as communities built on strong nation-states, and that we don't forget our roots, the minister said. The chairman of the Hungarian-German Youth Association highlighted that they organize these forums every year. However, this year they specifically organized their event on the date of the anniversary. It is very important for us to be able to look back in the past and to know what happened, as well as to make Hungarian and German students realize that for building a future together, it is necessary to appreciate our common past, the chairman of the association said. The forum was founded back in 1991, initiated by the heads of both governments, Helmut Kohl and József Antal.
The government is continuing its labour market reform programme. While unemployment is at a record low, there is still over 200,000 job seekers who they wish to help. There is no shortage of jobs. It was announced today that a world-class biotechnology plant is being built in Koban in Hajdú-Bihar County, and a 21st century dairy processing plant has been handed over in Baranya County's Magócs.
The factory, where no production has been going on since last year, was completely empty. Amino acid had been produced here earlier, but production was seized. It was in question whether the building would be demolished or they would find a new investor. The mayor of the city announced that the factory was going to be saved, as a world-class biotechnological factory is expected to be established here by the American Conagen. The development of the American company is a great opportunity for the town in Híradó County, as it will be one of the biggest business taxpayers contributing to the further development of Kaba.
Our plans to invest $50 million in the facility for the upgrading, and this is the first step. And for sure, we'll bring our investor, our customer here. I do believe in the next 5 years, we'll bring 2 to 3 major the billion-dollar company, the two here investor, Kaba, around this facility.
And this is the newest milk processing plant in Hungary, where everything is ready for production to be launched. According to the plans, 25,000 liters of milk will be processed here every day. The product, as they say, will be fully traceable from the farm to the consumers. The State Secretary for Rural Development has stated at the opening ceremony that the government aims to support the domestic dairy industry with different kinds of agricultural subsidies, such as the Rural Development Program, in order to make the industry more successful and build more factories like the one in Mágocs. Such investments are also supported by consumers. Consumers act well if they look for Hungarian products in the shops and prioritize those which are surely made of good quality, domestic raw materials by a Hungarian workforce, the State Secretary said. The increasing pace of investments and the growing employment rate keeps the economy moving. Thanks to this, there was a GDP growth of 4.9% last year and a 5.2% in the first half of 2019, when looking at a yearly comparison. According to this data, the Hungarian economy performed the best in the European Union.
4 Hungarian designers will promote Hungarian design at Paris Design Week. There are also lectures and presentations. The event in Paris started 1 week ago and will last until Saturday. Hundreds of professionals, galleries, showrooms, restaurants and hotels have joined the program series again this year.
This 5-point lamp, these high heels and platform shoes, and this practical hanger can all be seen at this year's Paris Design Week, organized in the French capital. The event draws thousands of visitors, which enables retailers and professionals from galleries, restaurants and showrooms to exchange their ideas and experiences. Hungary was represented by the Hungarian Fashion and Design Agency. Since its foundation, the Hungarian Fashion and Design Agency has aspired to provide as many opportunities as possible to the design sector by involving both domestic and international figures. A very good opportunity for this was our participation in the Paris Design Week, since it's an outstanding event on a European level, the CEO of the agency said. 4 Hungarian designers held presentations on the School of Bauhaus at the event. They, for example, talked about what effects the 100-year-old influential architectural movement has on today's design and education. The Paris Design Week will last until Saturday.
The surroundings of the Malom Lake in Topolca represents one of the coziest districts of Hungary, with its Mediterranean houses, the mill building and its gorgeous landscape. The Topolca stream comes from the Malom Lake and flows into Lake Balaton. Atmospheric restaurants, coffee houses around the lake await visitors in the autumn period. The lakeshore becomes the location of gastronomy festivals such as the famous Trout Festival. The Egri József Memorial Museum is located in the center of Badacsony, near the shore of Lake Balaton on the Egri Promenade. In the 20th century, the Hungarian painter was obsessed with Lake Balaton and is also called the painter of the lake. From many angles, he painted the Hungarian sea almost every time of the day. He developed his unique naturalistic approach alongside expressionist and constructive styles. A rich selection of his works can be seen in the modern exhibition space. And that's all for now, but don't forget you can catch Hungary Reports every night after 11 p.m. news and online as always. Do stick around and watch our German, Russian and Chinese language news. Thank you for watching and have a lovely evening.